Should he go maybe under my go under? Okay, maybe put just do the action as well.
21 Savage wife. I couldn't even finish reading because I did not know this man was married.
Now to our ABC News exclusive, rapper 21 Savage speaking out for the first time since his release by Ice.
Latto just had a complete meltdown after discovering that 21 Savage's current wife is pregnant. Not his ex-wife, but the woman he's still legally married to back in England. Meanwhile, Latto is in America pregnant with his baby, thinking they're building a future together, completely unaware of 21's other family situation. On March 20th, Latto announced her upcoming pregnancy-themed album, Big Mama, set to drop May 29th, sharing reveal photos with 21 Savage's tattooed hand and baby pictures, making it clear he's the father and they're doing this together. What Latto didn't mention? That 21 Savage is still married and his wife is also expecting, meaning the man she believed was committed to her has never actually been available to marry her. The moment she found out, the crash was immediate. And here's a detail most people forget about 21 Savage. He's not American. Born in London, he moved to Atlanta as a kid, but never became a U.S. citizen, adding another layer to this already complex situation.
Morning, George. Yes, he was born in England, but 21 Savage says he is from Atlanta. He says it's where he grew up, starting in first grade.
The truth about 21 Savage's life got exposed back in 2019 when ICE arrested him. The world learned that the rapper everyone thought was from Atlanta was actually born in England and was living in the US on an expired visa. Memes exploded everywhere, and while the situation was funny to some, it also revealed just how much 21 had kept hidden about his life. One of the biggest secrets? His marriage to Kiana Joseph in 2020. They married quietly, had 2 sons together, and most people assumed it was purely for love. In 2023, Kiana filed for divorce, but here's the kicker. That divorce was never finalized. 3 years later, in 2026, they are still legally married. Now sources say Kiana is pregnant again with 21 Savage's child, while he is publicly in a relationship with Latto, who just announced her own pregnancy. Latto discovered she wasn't the only woman carrying 21's child, and she wasn't even his wife. Her reaction was explosive. She confronted him immediately, demanding to know why he never disclosed that the divorce wasn't finalized, why he allowed her to announce a pregnancy while still legally married to someone else who was also expecting. Latto and 21 only went public on Instagram in 2025, but during months of their relationship, he never mentioned he was still married, never mentioned Kiana was back in the picture, and never said she was pregnant. Latto found out the same way the world did, through whispers, sources close to 21's family, and the grapevine. The situation hit hard when Elle realized the full implications. 21 Savage was never going to marry her, couldn't marry her, and even if the divorce eventually goes through, he now has Kiana pregnant, complicating everything. Latto had thought announcing her pregnancy was the start of building a family together. In reality, 21 Savage was already building a family with someone else.
And it's going to be the quiet, harsh part out loud. It is not something to be celebrated to be the mistress baby mama. And watching people kind of make up this narrative in their head that like, oh, 21 Savage is going to leave his wife that he's been legally married to for how many years now? Let's say 5.
The meltdown isn't just about 21 Savage being married, it's about the lie. Latto fell in love, got pregnant, announced it publicly, all while 21 knew he had a wife back home who was also expecting. People might wonder why he never told Latto, or why he would choose to stay married to a woman from a failed marriage. The truth is, the divorce has been pending for 3 years, not because of love, but because of legal strategy. Now, with Kiana pregnant again, that marriage becomes even more critical for his citizenship status. He couldn't tell Latto any of this. He couldn't say, "I'm staying married for immigration reasons," while dating her publicly. He couldn't admit his marriage was essentially a green card arrangement while getting her pregnant. So he let Latto believe he was single, let her believe they had a future together, and let her get pregnant thinking they would eventually marry. Now the crash is inevitable. Latto realizes she was never the priority. His immigration status was, his legal wife was, and she was just the girlfriend having a baby with a married man. What makes this even messier is the UK angle. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, had already exposed 21 Savage as a British citizen living in the U.S. illegally back in 2019, which adds another layer of complexity to the entire situation.
Arrested by ICE in 2019, and when it came out that he was British, it shocked the TL, okay? And conveniently, he got himself a wife, and he became a U.S. citizen in 2023. And now, he's got a longtime girlfriend that he's never been publicly connected to, and she's now pregnant, and she's never been able to publicly claim him.
The English wife angle isn't just about where 21 Savage was born. It's about why he'll never legally leave Kiana, even if he's emotionally involved with Latto. Latto is now pregnant with a married man's child, a man who can't divorce because his immigration status depends on staying married. His legal wife, Kiana, is also pregnant, and while Latto announced her pregnancy thinking it was the start of a family, she's slowly realizing she's the side situation. There's nothing she can do about it. She's already pregnant, already tied to 21 Savage for at least the next 18 years through this child, and can't demand marriage because legally he can't. Latto's career has been on the rise, successful in her own right, but getting pregnant by 21 Savage while he's still married to someone else who's also expecting has turned into a public relations nightmare she didn't see coming. Critics, like Lady on Bell, have already called her out for getting pregnant by a married man with multiple children, and they're not wrong. 21 Savage is married, does have several kids, and Latto's baby will be one of many. The real crash isn't just about betrayal, it's about realizing that her future is now permanently connected to a man who was never going to commit the way she imagined. Latto's pregnant, Kiana is pregnant, and 21 Savage, still legally married, has no plans to finalize the divorce because his career and legal status depend on keeping that marriage intact.
I say this as someone who's watching young girls again say like, no, he's gonna leave his wife for. They're not. They never leave their wives for that mistress. Maybe they leave their wife and they get with somebody else later, but they never leave it for that mistress. Very rarely does it ever happen.
Latto completely crashed out when she discovered the truth. She was never the priority. Marriage was never on the table, and the man she got pregnant by was already building a family with his legal wife while keeping her as the public girlfriend. The real question isn't whether 21 Savage played Latto, he clearly did, but whether Latto knew on some level that he was still married and chose to ignore it, or whether 21 genuinely hid Kiana's ongoing role in his life. Kiana didn't crash out when Latto announced her pregnancy. She liked the post, publicly showed support, signaling she knew her position as the legal wife was secure, no matter what 21 did with Latto. That confidence says it all. Being 21 Savage's girlfriend means nothing when you're competing with his green card wife. Latto may be carrying his child, but Kiana is carrying his child and safeguarding his immigration status. In that competition, the girlfriend never wins. The crash out may fade, Latto will have the baby, and she and 21 will either work it out or they won't, but the fundamental reality remains the same. 21 Savage was never going to marry Latto because he is already married to the woman who literally keeps him in America. That marriage isn't ending, no matter how many girlfriends get pregnant along the way.